think you know werewolf movies? Because you've seen American Werewolf in London, sure you've seen The Howling, and of course you've even seen Silver Bullet. But tonight we are digging into the deep cuts, the ones buried in VHS shelves, late night cable marathons, and the darkest corners of horror streaming. So grab your silver bullets, lock your doors, because these are 10 werewolf movies you've never seen. And a few of these deserve to bite their way back into the spotlight. So pop that tape in, I got you, let's go do this. Alright, so 10 werewolf movies you've never seen, or maybe you just missed or forgot about, and we're gonna jump right into the list with 2014's Late Phases. This one is criminally overlooked. I've had some people talk to me about it before. Yes, I have seen this one. Late Phases is a story of a blind Vietnam vet who moves into a quiet retirement community that just so happens to have a werewolf problem. Nick Damici plays the lead, and the kind of a grizzled charm that he has here feels straight out of a Carpenter movie. He's blind, he's armed, but he doesn't take crap from anyone. It's kind of cool, including whatever is ripping through his neighbors. But what makes it great is the heart. It's not just creature mayhem, it's about aging, loneliness, but still finding a purpose, still being strong and standing on your feet and helping other people even when everyone else has written you off. It's got solid practical effects, which is hard for werewolves. I did werewolf transformation in my movie Creature Feature. It's hard to do. It's surprisingly emotional. The final feels like it's got a little bit of Gran Torino mixed with The Howling, but this one is a hell of a good one that goes under the radar. Late Phases from 2014 comes in at number 10. Now, number 9 is one that's a good flick with a terrible name. It is Where from 2013, and this one kind of takes the found footage format, believe it or not, and flips it into something that is very intense and grounded, which is weird to start with that premise and go there, because it kind of starts out as a procedural about a man who's accused of a brutal murder in rural France. But as the story unfolds, we realize this isn't just your average suspect here. So instead of going supernatural and sparkly, I guess, right out of the gate, Where leans into realism. Like, what if being a werewolf was a genetic condition? When the transformation hits, it's brutal and fast, no CGI glitter, just raw, animalistic carnage. This one's here because it sort of actually elevates the werewolf myth in some ways. It makes it feel more dangerous again, kind of like the Bourne Identity with claws. This one has something that I wasn't expecting. It's not traditional horror. It's not traditional werewolf film, but a werewolf film that I think you should see. It comes in at number 9. Now, number 8, we go back to 1981, and that is sort of the problem for Wolfen. This one came out the same year as The Howling and American Werewolf in London, which is probably the reason it got buried and so many people missed it. But Wolfen is more of like the thinking person's werewolf movie. It stars Albert Finney, so you got acting right out of the gate. It's about a detective investigating grisly murders in New York City, only to discover that the killers might not be entirely human or entirely supernatural either. But what makes Wolfen special is the mood. It is super gritty, urban, weirdly kind of spiritual, so it has that sort of like, I don't know, almost like if you had like, if you were watching Michael Mann's Thief and a werewolf movie broke out, the cinematography is like that. It gives us those sort of neon, rain-soaked, gritty city vibes, eerie Predator POV style stuff long before the Predator made that famous. It's kind of part crime noir, part ecological horror, part werewolf existential crisis. It's got a lot going on. It earns its place here because it proves that you can do werewolf horror and still make your point. This one's very different. Wolfen often overlooked because of when it came out. It's worth a watch. It comes in at number 8. Now, number 7 on this list proves that werewolf movies can go a completely different way, and this is where things get gloriously stupid. And that is 1985's The Howling 2, Your Sister is a Werewolf. Howling 2 is a cult classic disaster that deserves your love in every single way. It will make you fall in love with it for all the wrong reasons or right reasons, depending on your perspective. You got Christopher Lee in here wearing sunglasses indoors, Sybil Danning doing more revealing work than anyone expected, and more than she expected, apparently, if you watch the end credits. The soundtrack sounds like a synthwave nightmare. This one is sleazy, it's ridiculous, it's unforgettable. Werewolves had to be made out of basically monkey rat type costumes. Why is it on this list? Because it is pure 80s VHS werewolf madness, and I mean that with all of the love and respect. It's the kind of thing you'd find on the dusty corner in the video rental store, rent as a joke, and somehow end up just having a blast with. The Howling 2 reminds us that werewolf films, horror films, don't necessarily have to be good in a traditional sense. They just need to be fun and entertaining. The Howling 2 definitely has that. It comes in at number 7. Now, at number 6, we go to the most recent entry on this list. It is 2024's The Beast Within, starring Kit Harington, famous as Jon Snow from Game of Thrones. And this is a very interesting take on werewolf films in a modern but not modern setting. The Beast Within, as I said, stars Kit Harington in what might be one of the most just different, unique, and impressive takes on werewolfism that I've seen in a while. And maybe it's not even a werewolf. That's up to your interpretation. The story follows a small town family that hides a dark secret in the family lineage. And when one of them, I don't want to give too much away here, when one of them begins showing signs of the violent transformation into being a werewolf, we get into this slow burn, character-driven tragedy. The effects are pretty good in this one. It leans heavily into the psychological tension, the mystery, uncovering what is going on here. Very, very different. Very different. So if you're expecting like werewolves running around killing people, you're not going to get that in this. You're going to get something totally different. But if being a werewolf was real and it was inherited and part of a family curse, so to speak, this film probably portrays that in the most real way ever, if it is in fact werewolves. I'm just going to leave it at that. The Beast Within comes in at number 6. Now at number 5, we have one that probably flew under everyone's radar back in 2006, Skinwalkers. So yes, this one is flawed, but it's also ambitious as hell, and that gets it on this list. Skinwalkers mixes Native American mythology with biker gang action and classic werewolf tropes. So you've got dueling clans. One wants to embrace the curse. The other wants to end it before a prophesized child turns 13. It's underworld kind of with a country kind of low budget flair. It has some killer makeup work in it though. It belongs here because it's very different. When everyone else was doing J-horror remakes and all that kind of stuff that I wasn't into, I found this one because it's a werewolf film that is legit and surprisingly heartfelt, and they were going for something different. Check out Skinwalkers. It is worth a watch. It comes in at number 5. Now, number 4 on this list takes us to 1973. It's one I've mentioned a couple times over the past few months on the channel because I just discovered it myself and I absolutely loved Curse of the Devil. This is one for Euro horror lovers as it stars Spanish horror icon Paul Naschy returning as Waldemar Daninsky. Basically, he is Europe's answer to Lon Chaney. And The Curse of the Devil is gothic, it's moody, it's full of fog-covered forests that give you that like flashbacks to the original Wolfman, cursed families, tragic monsters. It's a werewolf horror the way Hammer films wished they could make it because it's got blood, atmosphere, and a whole lot of sleaze. And that kind of separates it a little bit from Hammer films. This one earns a spot here because it's pure classic werewolf tragedy. You have the man cursed. He's torn between being himself and the love of his love and all that kind of stuff and the beast that is within. So if you love old school monster movies, this one is a hidden gem that I recommend. The makeup is surprisingly strong here. I like the Wolfman concept. Curse of the Devil, high recommend. I got it on this Vinegar Syndrome release this year. It comes in at number 4. Now, number 3 is one that maybe more people in recent years have discovered, but I still find a lot of people have never seen 1984's The Company of Wolves. This is sort of an art house fairy tale werewolf movie. Believe it. It's directed by Neil Jordan, Interview with the Vampire. This one is part dream, part nightmare, part surreal fairy tale reimagining of Little Red Riding Hood. It's all about the sort of, I would say kind of, without getting too deep in the weeds, kind of like the duality of innocence and temptation, and it's told through a gorgeous but like creepy ass fairy tale horror lens. The transformations are wild. You've got faces ripping apart, wolves bursting through human mouths, all practical effects. I love that so much. It belongs here, if for no other reason, because it is unique as hell. There's never been another werewolf movie, or really another movie quite like it. It made the werewolf myth mythic again, magical, and somewhat primal, supernatural, poetic, and sexy in a dark fantasy horror fairy tale way. This one is a favorite. The Company of Wolves, high on this list. Check it out if you haven't. It comes in at number 3. Now, number 2 on this list, we go way back to 1961. And remember me talking about Hammer horror? This is the spot for The Curse of the Werewolf. This is Hammer horror's gothic best right here with this movie. Stars a young Oliver Reed giving one of the most tortured performances of his career, set in 18th century Spain. It's the story of a man born under a curse. You got that whole curse of the devil, curse of the werewolf. It's all there because he is doomed to become a beast when the moon is full. Hammer's production design too here, they're kind of second to none on this, but The Curse of the Werewolf is immaculate in its design. You got cobblestone streets, howling winds, candlelit castles. It's beautiful and tragic, kind of like Frankenstein and Beauty and the Beast together, but you got werewolves in here, and that's part of why it's here, because it defined the cinematic werewolf iconography in so many ways. Without this movie, we maybe don't have half of the werewolf movies from the 70s or 80s, or maybe they wouldn't exist at all. The performances here is sympathetic. The monster is sympathetic. A victim, not just a villain. You've got layers. Onions got layers. You know, a cake's got layers. This movie has layers. This is one that you haven't seen because it is older, and a lot of people kind of poo-poo older movies. Don't. Check this one out. You will not be sorry. Comes in at number 2. And at number 1, we go to one that I just found a couple years ago myself, and every time I mention it to someone, they don't know what I'm talking about. It's 2015's Howl. And this one definitely gets the top spot here. It's like Train to Busan, which I just finally saw recently, with werewolves, as a late night commuter train breaks down in the middle of nowhere. So you got that isolation vibe. And then the full moon rises, and suddenly it's survival horror on rails. The passengers are trapped. The werewolves are not, Twilight werewolves or anything like that. They are vicious, and the movie delivers an old school creature design that feels straight out of old school VHS, sort of golden age horror practical effects without a massive budget. It deserves to be number 1 because it gets everything right. They try to work in a little CGI where they can. It's not overbearing. It tries to work hand in hand. They're constrained by their budgets a little bit, but it gets everything right. The tension, the gore, the pacing, the practical effects that they have. It looks like people turning into monsters. There's not just a bunch of rubbery CGI globs here. I enjoy it. It's tight. It's scary. It's bloody fun. It's the kind of movie that reminds you why you love creature feature horrors, particularly werewolf films in the first place. I cannot recommend it enough. The scary isolation, hopelessness, literally with the wolves at the door. Howl takes the top spot. Check it out. It comes in at number 1. So there you have it, 10 werewolf movies you've never seen, or maybe you just missed, forgot about, or need a refresher on, from gothic, tragic monsters who are cursed to full moon carnage on a train. These flicks prove while there is still plenty of bite left in the werewolf genre. So what's your favorite underrated werewolf movie? Let me know in the comments. Obviously, we know about the big ones. I'll have a list coming of the best werewolf movies ever, but give me some that you think maybe flew under the radar. Have you seen some of these? Drop it in the comments. Let me know. And if you like countdowns like this, if you like digging in to all kinds of old movies, new movies, talking about them, looking at them from a different way, discovering them, supporting them from now and generations to come, like and subscribe. That helps out the channel. And if you want to do more, you can join my Patreon link below. We get into all of that, and you get your name in lights. You see behind the scenes looks at my filmmaking, special physical media, 4K reviews, and deep dives into movies like this with footage and discussions and all that kind of stuff, and so much more. And everything goes back into the channel, and I really do appreciate it. But until next time, be kind, rewind like always. This is Chase with AV Pop Culture, and I'll see you real soon. Bye-bye.